Thank you, Omri. Now we're going to bring on Pat Lambert for Pat Lambert Presents. And for his segment this week, he's going to tell us how we can help out the victims of the tsunami in Japan. They're still suffering, even a few weeks removed from the incident. Pat, what can we do to help out?
Good morning, Emerson. I'm Pat Lambert with this week's Pat Lambert Presents. Important stories in the global media are front page news for a day, maybe a week, and then they become smaller inserts or shorter updates as the news cycle cycles through. Across the wall of the world, a country sits and waits. They wait for help, for rescue, for the hope to rebuild their shattered homes and find their families among the debris. Japan is yesterday's news, in fact last week's. But as the struggle to survive intensifies, we too easily shrug off their story like another streaming line of a news ticker. This week I found stories that need to be told as much as the people of Japan need help. Across the nation, communities are coming together in the wake of this tragedy to give back. This is Pat Lambert Presents Disaster in Japan. On Friday, March 11th, 2011, Japan experienced what some say is devastation of biblical proportions. On March 21st, it snowed as the first day of spring in Boston, and it snowed across the wall of the world and the grief-stricken coast of Japan. Members of the Boston community gathered for a vigil at Old South Street Church in prayer. Organized by the Japan Society of Boston, this was just one of many vigils across the nation, sending what the Japanese need most: money and hope.
What we did this evening at South Church was one step, I think, in the healing process. But we have to do more. We have to pray. We have to send hope in every possible way. And that's what we were trying to achieve tonight, to sort of gather in solidarity.
College students are taking their part in the relief efforts. At Emerson College, students organize their own international aid by selling paper cranes and sponsoring a Fight the Waves relief concert, the proceeds of which would go to the Red Cross.
I personally wanted to put this together because I have family in Japan, but it's amazing how much of the Emerson students, the Emerson community wanted to put this together. They all sent me emails saying, what can we do as a community to put this together? What can we do as Emerson to help people on the other side of the world? For the past few days, we've been doing the paper cranes of hope, which we were giving out paper cranes for a small donation, and from that we've actually gotten nearly $500, so hopefully this will double that.
With inspiring patience, optimism, and grace, the Japanese collect themselves to move forward, and communities around the world collect themselves to help. To donate to Japan, text Red Cross to 90999. For Good Morning Emerson, I'm Pat Lambert. Good Morning Emerson, giving back. Back to you, Terry and Anaritis.
Thank you, Pat, for sharing that very touching package with us. We hope that it will inspire many more to help out those in Japan. It's time for our last commercial break, but when we come back, Alyssa Altman is in studio to show us a place located in the Boston area where you can go rock climbing.
Stay tuned.
Good morning, Emerson, and welcome back. Last week, I checked out Metro Rock, an indoor rock climbing facility in Newburyport, Massachusetts. It's got a ton of different rock walls, cool people who work there, and it's super easy to get to. Let's check it out. Good morning, Emerson. We're in Newburyport, Massachusetts at Metro Rock, which is an indoor rock climbing facility. There's a ton of different rock climbing walls here, and it's a great spring activity. I want to go rock climbing, so let's get started.
Since the whole theme of Metro and Metropolitan was right in the name, we wanted to stay close to the commuter rail or some form of community transportation. And so Newburyport seemed like a really good place to do that.
So it's obvious that I need a little help, but luckily at Metro Rock, they always want to help you. So let's go find someone and then we can get going and climbing again. So this is Matt and he works at Metro Rock. And he's gonna help me climb a little bit since I'm so bad. Are you sure you can help me? I'm really bad.
We can help anybody.
Are you sure? I'm really bad.
Let's go. All right, so we've got everything over here. You can probably see it On the right-hand side, it's called boulder climbing. So that's ropeless climbing, where you fall onto these big blue mats. And then for rope climbing, we offer top roping. So anything over here where you see the ropes hanging from the anchors.
Why should people come to Metro Rock and rock climb?
So no matter where they go, they should get out and at least try rock climbing. It's an amazing activity to do that kind of blends the concepts of just being healthy and having fun.
If you're looking for a fun spring activity outside of the city, Metro Rock is located within walking distance of the Newburyport stop. It's tons of fun, so what are you waiting for? Come on up here. For Good Morning Emerson, I'm Alyssa Altman. A day pass for college students on Fridays at Metro Rock is $19 including rental. It's within walking distance of the Newburyport stop on the Newburyport commuter rail line. Now back to two people who definitely wouldn't fail at rock climbing, Terry and Anaritis.
Definitely not going to fail.
No.
We're a good climbing duo.
I am.
This morning we have got Britney Perro and Rachel Campbell in studio. They are from the Take Back the Night program. What can you tell us about that? We've seen signs all over campus.
Take Back the Night is Kappa Gamma Chi's annual campaign against domestic violence that raises awareness and also raises funds for our beneficiary, Casimira Vasquez. So our events are going to take place all next week, Monday through Sunday, and you can check them out at kappagammachi.com.
And you're also putting together a performance of the Vagina monologues. What's different about this year's adaptation?
This year we were able to create a submission contest for the Emerson students, so we could actually hear from the Emerson student body. And we've got a few submissions that we're going to feature in this year's Vagina monologues.
That's great. And actually, you're going to give us a sneak peek onto what the audience and Emersonians can expect this weekend. Take it away.
Sure thing. I have always been obsessed with naming things. You know, if I could name them, I could know them. If I could name them, I could tame them. And they could be my friends. For example, I had a large collection of frogs when I was a little girl. I had stuffed frogs and china frogs and neon frogs and plastic frogs and happy battery-operated frogs, and each one had a name. I took the time to get to know them first before naming them. Of course, I would sit them on my bed, and I would watch them in the daylight, and I would wear them in my coat pocket, and I would hold them in my sweaty little hands, and then I would get to know them for their shape, their size, their smell, their sense of humor, and then I would name them, usually in a splendid naming ceremony. It would have been fine if I was just limited to naming frogs, but it didn't stop there. Soon enough, I was naming everything. I was naming rugs and doors and chairs and stairs. Ben, for example, was my flashlight, who I named after my kindergarten teacher who was always in my business. And then I came to name all the parts of my body. I named my hands Gladys. They just seemed functional and basic like Gladys. And my shoulders were Shorty, you know, strong and a little belligerent. And my breasts, Betty. I mean, they're not like Veronica, you know, but they're not ugly either. And then naming my down there was not the same. No, it's not like naming my hands. It's a little more complicated because down there is alive. It's not so easy to pinpoint. And so it remained unnamed, and as it remained unnamed, it remained untamed and unknown. When I was little, we had this babysitter, Sarah Stanley. She spoke in this high-pitched voice that made me pee. And one night in the bath, she told me, hey, make sure you wash your itsy bitsy. I mean, I didn't know what it was about it. Maybe it was the way that she said it, but something about it, it just stuck. So there it is, my itsy bitsy. Unfortunately, the name followed me into adulthood, and on our first night in bed, I told the man that I would later marry that itsy bitsy is shy but eager, and if you just be patient, she'd sure reveal her mysteries. He was a bit freaked out, I think.
Amazing job.
Definitely want to check that out. Thank you so much for coming in today, Brittany. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for the show today, but join us again on Tuesday when Noteworthy will be live in studio. They're going to be singing for us.
And make sure to check out all of our episodes on median.com, and if you aren't already, follow us on Twitter at #GMEmerson.